investigation, but we
Yeah, 6:12, and Chuck does have to leave.
Oh,
in
hello.
Okay.
Seeing that, I'd like to open the meeting. First, I'd like to apologize for last week. There was a family thing, but I also appreciate everybody being able to move to today. And I'll try to make this as quick and as possible. People have to be at other places. So with that in mind, I'm looking for a movement of the minutes for the May 11th meeting. See somebody like
So moved.
Seconded, thank you. Is there any discussion or any house cleaning that has to be done? We're good. I wasn't there, so I'm going to go back. I'm not voting on this.
So, in favor.
Okay, it's passed. Thank you very much. And again, my apologies and for your understanding. With that said, number 2 is proposed fees, increases. Does somebody want to present Heidi or Red for vote?
I will kick off with the, we held off on our report for last month at the last meeting, so I'm going to be very brief and go over just some highlights of what we've been working on. And you guys may not have that in front of you, but we had no license suspensions for food service for the previous month, and that your rate is still dropping, and I attribute that to all of the education in the field that give. Resort, so there have been, it has to be a repeated violation, and so we thought it was warranted. We're now adding our pool revenue on to our report, as well as the solid waste hauler as well. There have been a lot of dog bites recently.
Are you hearing the?
Yeah, it's just turning on and off.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Okay.
I got 4 mics that are lit up, but they're
From
not
the
doing
FDA
anything. They're in my office right
free
here.
trainings that are very arduous. Ren has been granted 1 hour
So look,
off
I think somebody may
to
have
come
messed
to
around
this.
with the frequencies.
He had to ask for permission, so he's on a time crunch as well. And just some education, and we also worked with the Homeowners Association for Paxton Terrace about their failing pump system, the sewer, and hoping that it doesn't fail. And that's really it for the month.
Any questions, please?
It's gone, it's on.
It is.
It's
on.
green.
It could be anywhere. A lot of times what happens is if someone is bitten, they end up in the emergency room for treatment, and then the police are called, and that's what initiates the dog bite complaint. One was someone who was standing at a fence and put her hand over the fence into somebody else's yard. There have been a couple of kids recently as well, and I know that from reading them that another dog got off of its lead, and then another dog, a large dog, was being led by a child. And got away and hit someone. So it could be virtually any scenario that we see. know that we're most concerned with making sure that the dog is seen by a veterinarian and that the shots are up to date. If the dog has bitten someone and the dogs are not up to date, then it goes to the shelter to stay there during its quarantine so that it can be monitored to see if it comes up with any symptoms that indicate potential rabies.
A couple of quick comments. Just kudos to the entire team for bringing us all through the pandemic safely. And since you've reported such wonderful news about how well our food establishments are doing, I'd love to see a shout out from the Board of Health to our food establishments, thanking them for their efforts and recognizing their efforts, because I know at times with all the different pandemic rules and guidance and things, it's been difficult, and I just want that recognized in some way. So even if when you go around, just say Board of Health was really happy to or appreciative.
That would be something that will be enjoyed. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Any other questions? Ren?
All right, thank you, everyone. Ren Bowden from Environmental Health. We want to do a brief presentation on a proposed fee schedule change to our food service program. Does anybody need a copy of the draft?
I'll do it. The one with the change?
Yeah, we just have the change. So there is one slight change that I will mention, just a minor language change, nothing to do with the actual.
Ren, could I have a copy? I didn't.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bob, you're getting one of the.
You want one?
We'll share. We'll share.
You good? Okay. So as you can see, the food service fee schedule, the last update for this fee schedule was 2006. So it has been 16 years. This is the longest time frame that it's been from a previous change. We had initially begun looking at this change 2018, 2019, which allowed the state to start it, but then we all know what happened at the beginning of 2020, and that kind of put a pause on it. So it didn't mean to take this long, but as we're entering the quasi-recovery phase, that where we did say this is a good time as any to bring this up, as well as being fair to this program. So to give a little bit of a background of as you're looking through this draft version, you're going to see the existing language in the ordinance is what has the strike through, and then anything that new is going to be put in its place is bolded underneath that section. So there's a couple sections where these are mentioned in our own chapter 170, which is our specific ordinance. 130-4 is the fee schedule for the licensing fees. That's where the major changes are going to happen. Our current problem with the current structure is that, as you can see if you look through page 1 and 2 of the document, that there are fees that are all over the map, right? There are 17 categories, and in some of those categories there are subcategories. And a lot of businesses can fall into multiple categories, and it also charged per seat. It has indoor seating, outdoor seats, expanded seating. So these fees can get out of hand rather quickly. And it's also not fair to the operator when they apply. You can't tell them roughly what their fee is going to be at that stage. They generally don't know until they get their physical license. Like, okay, well, you're ready for the licensing. Let's go through everything that you actually have. So that complicates the process for them. So we're trying to simplify that. We're trying to streamline that. We're trying to kind of base this off of the risk-based model that the FDA puts out, right? So the more complex operations that a facility has, the more time food is going through what we call the exotemperature danger zones, where the microbes need to grow. The more meals that are being served every day, this can tighten risk. So we're looking at that risk category. So you'll see we've made all those strike-throughs from the older model, and we're going to break everybody up into these particular categories. So we have our higher risk categories, our A1, B1, and B2 with the higher fees, and then those kind of lower or smaller operations, which would then be the C1 through the F1, and then our temporary vendors, the temporary food service vendors, B1 and B2 for the farmers market. So I think the biggest thing people want to know first, what's the overall burden, what's the impact? So typically right now our food service program, we bring about $115,000 on average. Even through the pandemic, that stayed pretty much on point. Even though we started this work 4 years ago, looking through our software system, pulling how many license holders that we have now versus them is honestly within 2 of what it was 3 or 4 years ago. So these numbers are pretty much going to be the exact same as they are now. So the proposal, the complete change to what that revenue would bring on the final page, be roughly $175,000, give or take maybe 165, 170, based on what it is. That's about a $60,000 change, which seems big. But when you assess that over 530 licenses, and you break that up over, again, it's a yearly fee, so just like you pay once per year, you split that monthly, the average is just an increase of $10 per month per license. So it's a nominal rate. Now, granted, that's not even across the board because of the way the old system was. And to demonstrate how kind of unbalanced our old system is, if you have a license with a restaurant that has multiple seating, let's say they have 300 to 400 to 500 seats for some of these larger ones, some even have more, they could be paying $600 or $700 per year now, when someone that may have a super large kitchen, but maybe they focus on takeout, they're only paying a couple $100. So we're trying to kind of equalize that risk factor, put them into these categories that, again, are based off of the FDA science that they've utilized, and really make it upfront and very clear to our operators what their license fees will be. And we're also going to streamline that in the application process. So that's under 170-12, which is the approval, that's page 4 of the packet that you have. We have originally 7 fees for our plan review process. We want to take that out, simplify that, and essentially bring it down to just a couple fees. So there's going to be the submission fee based again on category risk, because those take more time to review. Those are your larger categories, the operations that are pretty big. You're looking through and review multiple areas. So we're going to increase that fee slightly, $200 for the A1, B1, B2 categories, lower it to $100 for the $125 for the C1, C2, B1, and C1 categories. Again, you see in the original fee there is no fee for the religious institutions, which was the language change, right out of the key document, churches and old wording. So we updated that. Public schools have never paid, so they still won't. So there's a couple categories, the 2 kitchens in the food pantries, that we want to make sure people are getting safe, quality food, but we don't want to charge a fee for that service. So there's no fee for that either during that plan process. It's just absolutely free for this license. We just want to verify that, again, this is coming from a safe source. So those are the major changes. That's actually the other slight change is in the inspection process. The old ordinance is a re-inspection fee. So if we go into a establishment, you do have a failure threshold. So we use a point system. So 0 through 100, anything less than a 75 on our end is considered a failure. So that prompts, again, under a different section of this ordinance, a re-inspection generally within 2 business days, and we do charge for that. Under the old system, it used to be 1/2 of their annual license fee. Again, not fair, kind of, if your license fee is $700, you get $350 in one whack, or really what's going to be hopefully just a couple hour visit costs. So we're trying to kind of lower that down and get focus it on the space. Just have a flat fee, slightly higher for the larger places that are going to take longer, lower for the ones that are going to take smaller. So that'll also help and kind of balance out the overall fees. Taking a little bit less in the re-inspection fees, but more overall in the overall license fees. So we're kind of giving them a slight break there. Because again, we are public health first, kind of the enforcement second, right? We want compliance with education. We want to make sure people are doing the right things. We don't always want to come in with that heavy hand. That's kind of where that change comes in, to lower that this slightly. So again, that overall, in a nutshell, that's what the changes are going to be. It will increase, again, our overall from this program by about $50,000, which again averages to about $10 per month per license. So it seems big, but again, overall, it's not a huge increase, and it has been 16 years. So we just try to balance it. And looking at a survey of other towns and cities similar to our size, this proposed change would be pretty much on par with what they are doing and what their fees are doing. So we'd be more than happy to take any questions.
Sure.
I really appreciate all the work that's been done on this because it is risk-based. That's where FDA has been really moving toward consistently for decades now. And it's very timely that this be done now. The other thing too is, according to Alderman Jetty's feedback, sustainability of the department, that is critical to us as well. We need to sustain this program to protect the public health. And if we are looking at our fees, and we can do this more often from now on, that helps us provide those services. Excuse me.
A couple of questions. Parochial schools are not included in this?
So,
You said the
so
churches.
there are private schools that we
Uh-huh.
have, they're home kitchens, they do have a fee, I believe they are, their fee did not increase much for the ones that do have a full service kitchen.
Mhm.
The old programming they're getting is $175 for the private institutions. This proposal brings them to that, I think that $200 category, which is D1. So only just a very slight bump to what it was.
Okay. How do you filter in those restaurants that have summer extension out onto the patios, out onto the street? How do you?
It's a complication,
Yeah,
right?
I figured.
Especially the last couple of years with the expanded dining,
Right.
we have not been charging for that because it has been such a complex process.
Mhm.
It's temporary, when's it gonna start, when's it gonna end, there's a lot of complications for that. Those numbers, anything, again, on the current ordinance does charge $1.50 per seat. And that's just the fee that they have to pay. It's not a prorated fee if they're only using it for 3 months to other years, it's that flat fee. So it's generally assessed through the measurements of the fire marshal's office.
Mhm.
So there is an assembly permit that's given, whether it's outdoor dining, expanded areas, or indoor dining. So they are given paperwork stating what is stated on that assembly permit. We utilize that number to figure out what the number of seats are for that rate. Again, we're hoping to get away from that process because it creates such a hassle
I know.
on our end, on our software end, on the operator end. If we're going out and saying, oh, you lost an extra $15 because you have an extra 10 seats, it's not really feasible. We have not been doing that through the last couple of years. We expanded this to it
Mhm.
because we were hoping to streamline this process.
Okay.
It's been a very, very complex issue.
I understand. I know it's been a long time, obviously, since this was put up. You feel that the percentage of your jump is defendable by the fact that it has been a long time. And seeing the rate of inflation where it's going now, one of the things that I'd like to see is we will look at this and X number, and that's the one you got to fill in, so we don't get so far out of whack type of thing. You can justify and say, hey, inflation's gone up 20% and we're only charging you 10%, but that may be such a big jump that you may get a lot of pushback from people. So in the legislation, I'd like to see either year or number of months that this will be reviewed on a consistent basis.
Thank you. That's a great point. We actually have 3 separate models that we're looking at for that. So we kind of taken this all in spreadsheet form, and every license holder that we have in multiple pages. And we kind of looked out, if we start looking at a 2-year basis, 3-year basis, 5-year basis, and what the increase would be based on that. So there's 3 models that we currently look at, actually even out to be the same. And we're toying with, we don't want to do it too frequently with too much of a burden, but not long enough where we're waiting too long for something to happen. And I think to go back to Heidi's point, one of the big changes that our program has seen over the last several years is that, again, we are very much, as much as we're there to regulate and to enforce the safety laws, really we are public health coaches first, right? We are out there to ensure that the businesses that are here succeed in the long term. And so a lot of our program over the last few years has been to ramp up that training piece for the operators in the field, and to sustain this program, to be out there more, and to educate them more, and to do more site visits that aren't charged for it, to ensure that they are doing better every day, day in and day out. That helps to not only satisfy the changes in 60 years, but to build up that program where we're giving them more, that they can work better,
Great.
be stronger, and not fail, right? To make sure that what they're giving out every day is a safe quality.
Okay. So So one of the things that I probably would say is not to hold up this. I would say, we'll vote on this, but at some point in the very near future, you'll come up with the language that says this document will be reviewed every X number of years, and we'll just amend it and add it to this. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What we could do is come up with that language or ask legal to come up with
Mhm.
that
Yep.
language and echo another city entity, same sort of type of review process. as
Right,
well.
right. I just want to see it in writing.
Yep.
So that we say, well, I think we did it back then, and we did, no, we should have that there, because you, me, and the rest of us eventually are not going to be here, so it gives the next group, that why should they have to go through all the work that you guys have done, which is commendable, and when it says it right there, you have to do it, okay? That's all my questions are. Stephanie?
Brief language request.
Uh-huh.
On page 3, 170-11B. The health officer or his designated representative, that's probably language from 2006. So if we can say there or the or something like that, and make it gender neutral.
There is a disclaimer in the overall ordinance, book of ordinances, that states something about that it's either gender.
Okay, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you for that. And then the other thing is, kudos for you providing such detail and for researching this so carefully in your run-up to this recommendation. You've brought us some detail that's not in this excellent document, such as the number of seats based on the fire marshal's recorded license. So I would like to suggest that this be introduced with a set of FAQ, such, just very briefly, for people to scan and for the aldermen to be able to discuss with each other, a few facts. It's been 16 years. The largest increase, whatnot, the comparison based on the FDA risk management, all those things, including how one determines. Because I think that will result in less, pushback, that people understand the thoughtful process. That having been said, I will wait until Chairman Storis asks for a motion.
Actually, are you amending this document? I misunderstood.
No, I mean, there was an explanation from Heidi that wasn't it.
Right.
No, the amendment to
Yeah.
endorse this. I believe they want an endorsement.
Okay. So instead of doing the motion, hold on to that, because if we move the motion, then you stop all discussion at that point. So what I'd like to do is hold that,
Okay?
and is there any other questions? Chuck, I haven't heard from you. Any questions?
No, I love the simple, not simple, but it makes more sense.
Okay.
I like how you organized
All
it.
right. Bobby, anybody else have any questions or comments, or?
I like what you just said, the pushback from the board. If I had those facts, it looks good.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, seeing that, your motion.
I move to endorse this
Mm-hmm.
and that it be brought to the Board of Aldermen.
Okay. Looking for a second? We have a second. Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Good, it's unanimous. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's okay.
Okay? Good training.
Just don't leave a smoke trail. June 8th. Okay, it's not on the agenda, but you can add it to the agenda.
What did I do wrong?
The June 8th meeting?
But just very briefly, some notes have been presented from the June 8th meeting, and a few clarifications. It wasn't a meeting because we didn't have a quorum. I was the only board member present. Really appreciate you taking notes on the informational session, so wherever the word meeting appears, I would suggest that the proper language, according to Attorney Bolton, would be informational session, but certainly good to record who was here and what was brought forth. And the other thing is regarding the monkeypox, if it could be amended to say that it results from close physical contact instead of alluding to one specific group in which it has been identified, would be recommended.
I totally agree with that, because it seems to be kind of sensitive issues that it comes in that when we don't really have absolutely fact that it's from one business to the same business.
Bobby, you had a question?
Just that we want to also make a decision about the July or August meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So usually we have one of those months off for the summer,
Right.
and so we wanted to
Okay.
check in to see which month that was going to be.
Okay, hang on to that question, because I think you're still talking about this. Are you going to be able to make the changes? Thank you. Just wanted to make sure that that was there. Good, okay, that's fine.
Thank
I have
you.
no comment one way or the other,
Thank
because
you.
I'm not here. I just want to make sure it's procedural. Bobby has discussing our summer vacation break, whether it be July or August. Historically, it has been August, but we have moved it sometimes because we found staff members are gone. They had things to do, not necessarily even vacation. They had meetings and what have you. So it's up to the board to decide which one you want to do.
It is more likely than not that I will not be physically present in Nashua in July,
Okay.
but I would be able to attend in August.
Okay.
Not that that should be the deciding factor.
No,
but-
it is. It's part of the factor. I will, as far as I know, I have no vacation. There's nothing going on.
Right.
Never know about sicknesses, but I will be here July and August. So either one is okay with me. Check. So,
August, you do August. Wait, which one can't you be at?
July, I
Yeah, so
cannot be
let's
at
just
July.
have it in July.
okay, let me ask one question. Is there any business, Bobby, that you see coming up that July or August, we have to make like do or don't decisions?
No, since the board has already approved the moving forward of the proposed the proposed fee schedule.
Right.
So this will go on the agenda for the Board of Aldermen for, hopefully, for their end of June meeting to be
Okay.
passed for July.
Okay.
And then we'll be meeting in August with our board.
You don't think they'll be kicking it back to us for anything, do you?
No.
Okay. All right. So I would say either one, and if you can't be here, Stephanie, why don't we take July off, I guess, and then we'll be all planned to meet on August. Is that okay? I'll take a vacation. One thing I've learned in meeting, there's never the great time for a meeting. There's always something, and that's the stuff we do know. The stuff we don't know is going to happen, so just play with it. So. Have fun on your vacation. Have fun on your vacation. Oh, you did? Oh, you're good. Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. Okay, so we're going to take next month off, July, and we will reconvene on August 2nd, Wednesday, whatever that is, go back to our schedule. Is there any other questions or businesses that we have to talk? Looking for a motion to get out of here?
We have to vote on this, we have to vote on this board thing, our meeting? Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The conference was.
The conference.
Oh, I'm
that's right.
sorry.
That
Oh,
should have been,
you're
I think that's
right.
on the agenda.
It is on the
Next
agenda.
time.
Okay, it's actually kind of my motion, but we're voting on sending one of the members of the board to the conference on August 3rd. That's not a, is that going to interfere with the board meeting?
No.
Good, okay. So on August 3rd, we're going to take $1,000 out of the chairman's fund and let Dr. Capetta represent us, and I think Bobby's going to be there. Anybody else from the department?
No, just the two of us.
Okay, all right, and they'll report back on, yeah. What a great time we have. So I'm actually looking for a second to that motion.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
There you go. Don't spend it in one place.
Yeah.
Don't spend it on red. Thank you very much. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn. we're adjourned. I just would like to say Happy Father's Days for people who are fathers, want to be fathers, have fathers to celebrate with. Enjoy your family. Try to remember every day's Father Day and Mother's Day.
Happy Father's Day to the
Thank you very
fathers in
much.
the room.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you all.